Fantastic. Hey guys.
Hey.
I'm glad dude, it feels good to just have high school together, bro.
Yeah.
I kind of like just having high school together.
Good vibes in here.
Yeah. All right, cool. So over the next 3 weeks, we're obviously talking about dating, which I know can like kind of have mixed reactions. It's tough for me because I don't really know how we've talked about it in the past. But we're gonna try something new this year. So Gabby and I, we're gonna teach all 3 sessions, right? And so teach this week, teach next week, and the week after. And we really want this to be helpful. And so seriously, if you're like, this is the worst thing ever, like please talk to us.
Just tell us.
Yeah, we won't be offended, I promise.
Yeah.
We want this to be helpful. We want this to be something that you're glad you came to, that you learned. And so again, please give us feedback because we want to help. Because also, like, I know like we're like Unk and whatever the ant version of Unk is, but like
Unk and Ink.
we're not like that much older than y'all, like all things considered. And so I feel like we've been married for almost 2 years now, which is crazy. But we weren't dating that long ago. And so we also somewhat understand what it's like, but also I know stuff changes and stuff is different. So
For sure.
yeah. All right, cool. So tonight we're going to open up by talking about what is dating. And I think this is a question that everybody has because it's like, who even knows, right? Like,
Right.
is it talking?
Are we
is
talking?
It,
Do
are
we
we
have a
talking?
title?
Are we dating? Do we have a title? Is it just like a situationship? Like, is it just whatever,
Tell me
right?
about it.
And so I understand that it can be hard to even kind of comprehend and to walk through like what dating is, right?
Yeah.
And so it is tough, even from like a biblical standpoint. Dating isn't something that's in the Bible, right? So I can't
Right.
get up here and point to like a verse that tells you how to date.
Right.
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 Which is unfortunate because I wish I could, but we can point to a verse that tells us how to treat people, right?
Exactly.
And Jesus in Luke 6:31, he says, "Do to others as you would have them do to you." And so I think that's a good guideline for kind of all of what we're going to talk about what is dating, how do we date, who do we date, stuff like that.
Right.
The basis is we really just want to treat people like we want to be treated, right? And so when you're dating, when you're talking to somebody, when you're whatever, we always want to make sure that we're treating them with the most respect that we can because we would want them to treat us that way, right?
Yeah.
And so first off, what is dating? Dating is evaluation. Babe, you want to talk a little bit about this?
Yes. Dating is evaluation. To expand off of Campbell's point a little bit, dating wasn't a practice that was going on during biblical times. Like, your marriage was usually arranged and it was like a business deal. But now, these days, we marry for love, praise God. And so at the end of the day, we can classify dating as a kind of friendship. So we're going to apply some of the same principles that we would use to evaluate a good friend that would help us kind of evaluate if someone is a good fit for us to date. And so I think the most important point to consider on whether or not you should date someone is, do they love Jesus? And next week, we're going to be getting into this. Next week is all about who to date. So be back for that, small plug. And the answer to this question needs to be yes. And I know that cuts down the field by a lot, especially in high school, where y'all are at in lives, maybe heading off to college. But really, nothing is more important. And just because they go to church, it doesn't automatically make them a Jesus follower is. It doesn't automatically qualify them. In Matthew 7, verses 16 to 17, Jesus is telling his disciples, by their fruit you'll recognize them. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Likewise, every good tree bears good fruit, and a bad tree bears bad fruit. This is saying that you are going to know what's in somebody's heart based on their actions. Are they kind to people? Are they honest? Are they respectful? That kind of thing. So do they love Jesus? Does their life look like what Jesus talks about? Is such an important question to be asking yourself. Another good question to evaluate someone is, do we get along? Sounds pretty simple, but are our wants in this life compatible? Like, maybe they want to road trip across the country. That's their biggest dream, but you want to stay in Myrtle Beach forever. I don't know. Like, your lives are probably not compatible. Even if they love Jesus, they're a good friend, you like spending time together, like, compromise comes in at some point, but do you get along? Do you have common interests? Do you like the things they talk about? That sort of thing. Another really important question we don't want you guys to ignore is, do I have fun with them? Like, it's not all about serious. And yes, it's a big decision to be dating someone, but dating should be fun. This is really important. Dating is a form of friendship, like we talked about. And God made relationships between people to be enjoyable. And so you should pick someone you can have fun with, you can joke with. Life is serious enough. Like, you should have someone who makes the small moments enjoyable. And do they make me better? Because if not, why are you with them? Sorry, guys, I'm not laughing at the content. Do they encourage me to grow closer to God? Are they also trying to be closer to God? Do they push me, or are they distracting me? I think these are good things to keep in mind when you're evaluating.
Yeah, definitely.
Someone
But again,
has an interest.
I want y'all also to understand, like, I know a lot of this may seem like kind of far away, because it's like, obviously y'all aren't getting married anytime soon, and like that's not our heart, is to like necessarily like try to get y'all to make, like, I don't think y'all should get married till you're like at least like 26, honestly. But I do hope that we just talk about it so much that when you get to college and this stuff really starts popping up, that you're like, dude, like, we've been talking about that as students for 4 years, if you're like in Pink Tribe or Maroon Tribe, right? But like, we've been talking about this. It's been super applicable, super clear, super direct. Like, these are the best ways to do this. And also, I just want to emphasize, like, one of the things that I love so much about Gabby was not only did she make me better, because she 1,000% did. Like, I'm a mess, dude. Without her, like, my life would be who even knows where. I'd be in a ditch somewhere. But even more than that, like, dude, we have so much fun together.
Yeah.
Like, so much fun together. And we have friends who I'm like, do y'all even like each other?
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, what are we doing here? You know?
Yeah.
And so, like, I really want y'all to understand that, like, yes, 1,000%, like Gabby said, like, there are some serious things to talk about.
Right.
But also, like, dude, if you have fun with somebody or not is really important, because at the end of the day, like Gabby said, this is a friendship, and you're not going to really be friends with somebody that you don't have fun with, right? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
And so we apply the same things here. The next thing dating is also growing, and this is really something I want y'all to understand, is when you're dating, you're going to mess up and do stuff that hurts the other person, and, like, that is okay.
Yeah.
Like, I think y'all put too much pressure on yourselves. I don't even really know where this comes from, to, like, get it right or get it perfect. But it's like, you're not going to. And then on top of that, bro, like, I know some of y'all in relationships, and, like, I want to respect that. But, like, the probability that you marry that person is, like, so low. Like, I know that it seems like people marry their high school sweethearts all the time, but it's like, I wish I had a stat.
Super rare.
But it's super rare, right?
I don't think we know any couple that.
And so, like, on the down low, like, y'all honestly just need to, like, relax.
Breathe.
Right? Just breathe.
You're okay.
And so that doesn't mean not to date anybody,
Right.
because I think there's a lot of good things that can come out of dating in high school, honestly. I really do. But at the same time, don't put that pressure of, well, I'm with this person, you know, like, this is who I have to be with the rest of my life. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't like them, dump them, you know? Like, I know, yeah, see, you laugh, but I'm serious. Like, it shouldn't be that, like, taboo. If you don't like the person, break up with them. Why would you not? You're wasting your time. You're wasting their time. I don't know. That's like my soapbox or whatever. But again, and when two hurt people come together, people are going to get hurt.
Yes.
And so, again, I also feel like, and again, the reason our countdown was like all these love movies and all this romance and stuff like that is I think we have this idea of romantic relationships being perfect all the time and nobody getting hurt. But that's just not reality. Like, it's not. When two people come together, it's just like church. It's like any friendship, any group, or anything.
Yeah.
Like, none of us are perfect, and so we're gonna hurt people at some point, right?
Yeah.
And so it's never gonna be perfect. It's never gonna be where the other person's not gonna get hurt. That's where you grow. You learn to, like, apologize and say I'm sorry and move on from it.
Yeah.
Because it's really important.
Even
And
with the best of intentions.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
It
you can
just
still
happens.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing I really that I learned in high school that I want y'all to hear, and this is from a guy named Andy Stanley, who Pastor Trey really likes. He has a saying, and it's this. He says, "Be the person that you're looking for is looking for." And so again, that's be the person that you're looking for is looking for. And what that means is it's kind of thinking about, okay, so who is the ideal person I want to be with? Well, for me, it was I want to be with somebody who loves Jesus a lot, who is really fun to be around, who I can trust and laugh with, and all these amazing stuff, right? And so then for me, it's like, okay, how do I become the person that that person wants to date, right?
Right.
And so it's self-focused because, again, that's really what a lot of this is about, is it's growing and getting better.
Yeah. And all you can control is yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly, which kind of leads to our last point, which is dating is not marriage, obviously. But I feel like we apply dating responsibility and benefits that really only belong to marriage.
Yeah.
And kind of the first one is when you're dating, I think there's a common misconception for y'all and like young adults for sure of like making that person the number one priority in your life. Like when you're dating, you're technically like you're not like single in like the world's eyes necessarily, where you can just like be with whoever you want.
Right.
But you're also not married.
Right.
And so you shouldn't really spend all of your free time with the person that you're dating, because like you both still need friends.
Right.
You both still need lives outside of each other. And if all you have is each other, that's not gonna be healthy. And even when you get married someday, if you get married someday, you're not gonna wanna spend like that's the only person you hang out with. You still need relationships, you still need friendships, you still need to go do things that you enjoy.
Right.
Because that stuff is important. And so again, I know that's weird because I know like when we think of relationships, we're like, well, that means if I have a free second, I have to be with that person or on the phone with them or whatever. But that's not true. And I think actually your relationship would be better if you use your free time like more for yourself to be better, because then you could treat that person better and just be a better boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, because you're caring for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, so prioritizing healthy friendships that are individual, like Campbell said. Not spending every free second you have with this person. We talked about that. Another big benefit of marriage that I feel like sometimes gets applied the wrong way to dating is your relationships with God. Like while you are dating, you still each need to have your separate relationship with God, especially your alone time with God. Their God time can't just be at church with you if they're really a follower of Jesus. You need to be keeping it more personal than that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's a big one. Like if the only time this person is following Jesus is when they come to church with you, like that probably means they don't actually legitimately love Jesus. And I hate to be the one to tell you that. But again, if like Gabby said in the verse that we read, if we're supposed to know by their actions show us whether or not they love Jesus.
Right.
Turning up to church doesn't mean you love Jesus. And I think that's a misconception we can have sometimes. Like just because you come to church, just because you're involved in students doesn't mean you actually love Jesus, right? I would hope it does. But that isn't what saves you, right? The only thing that saves you is putting your faith in Jesus and him being the number one priority in your life, right?
Exactly.
And so the same thing for the person you're with. Like if the only time they're talking about God is number one to impress you, or number two when they come to church with you, then that probably means they don't love Jesus, right? And so that's just something to pay attention to. And the other thing, and we'll dive into this more later too, but something that's designed for marriage that I feel like we apply to dating is sex, right? Because this is something that has a very specific design that is supposed to fit in between a marriage between two people, and I feel like it can easily bleed over into other things where it doesn't have that parameter. And I know that doesn't feel like a huge deal, especially in the moment, but we're going to talk about it more like it actually really matters. And so again, I feel like sometimes we can take these things that are meant for marriage and apply them to dating, like, and that isn't necessarily how it should be.
Right.
And then something else we want to talk about, and this is kind of one of the last things, is like, again, just don't put too much pressure on yourself. Like, please don't mention getting married until you're like, I don't even want to say 22. That feels too young.
Don't give an age.
I'm not going to give an age. But like, dude, you have so much time.
Yeah.
Like, so much time. Like, so much time. And I know that can be frustrating to hear because you're like, dude,
I want to get married now.
no, not even that. You're like, dude, I'm grown. And y'all are. Like, please hear me. I'm not talking to y'all like kids. Like, y'all are grown.
Right.
For sure. But marriage is much different than like living on your own or like going to college or moving out of your house or getting a job for the first time. Like, it's not just like the next thing that you do in life.
Yeah.
Marriage is a really big decision because you're bringing together two people.
Two whole lives.
And, the design is for it to be forever, right? And so.
Yeah. So that stability is something that I think people feel pressure to apply in their dating relationships that doesn't really apply. Like, I think a lot of people are scared to break up if it's not the right fit or if they are not compatible because they're just like, there's this pressure to like talk about forever and talk about commitment and talk about your future with someone. But I think talking about marriage maybe should only be brought up when you're like actually in a place to start planning that.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, no, I totally agree with all that. All that to say, like, dude, just enjoy where you are right now. Like, you're in high school. I know you're not thinking about this at all, for the most part, but enjoy it, have fun, just be responsible, right? That's the only thing I'm gonna ask you to do. Because I know it may not feel like the decisions you make right now will affect anything in the future, but they do. That's just like the
Yeah.
unfortunate reality. And so, would it be awesome to just like do whatever the frick you wanted to right now and just like kind of shoot from the hip? Yes, of course, that would be awesome. But that's not what's best for you.
Yeah.
And as two people who love you, I can't get up here and like not tell you that, right? Because again, we want what's best for you.
Yeah. We want to
And-
see you guys in these fun, successful, healthy, supportive relationships.
Yeah, exactly. And again, if you get anything out of today, I really think it should be that be the person that you're looking for is looking for. I think
Yeah.
that'll help you out a lot, and especially as you get older. So we have some awesome questions for Tribe. I think it's gonna be really helpful. And then, like Abby said, next week we're gonna be talking about who to date and how to date. And then the last week, I'm gonna find a way to collect questions or thoughts from y'all, and we're gonna talk about really what is most helpful to you. So,
Q&A.
and we're not gonna use anybody's name, so don't feel weird.
Right,
Like I'm
right,
not
right,
gonna
right,
like
right.
at you.
Ask anything.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So I'm gonna pray, and then y'all go to Tribes. Is
Let's
that cool?
do it.
Jesus, thank you so much